Little kids fall into the rivers, they're attracted to water, and it's the most dangerous place in Utah.
It doesn't need to be deep to be dangerous.
And if somebody thinks they can walk across this, I think they're fooling themselves.
Swimming has nothing to do with it. You can't swim this. Extremely cold water.
If you fall in, you've got about 2 minutes before hypothermia sets in.
Emotionally, as a human, you want to jump in and save somebody.
That is the last thing you want to do.
Fight against your instinct to go in there. We don't want another victim.
Thanks for staying with us for this special report, Runoff Ready, Snowpack and Spring Flooding.
Yeah, in the next few weeks, the snow will start to melt, and that means our rivers and streams are going to start flowing high, flowing fast, and dangerous.
Every year, rescuers are called out when somebody falls in. Most of the time, they don't come out alive.
Tonight, we're going to look at the risks and how to stay safe.
We're also going to look at the probability that we're going to see major flooding. Experts say it's too early to know for sure, but with so much snow, it is a definite possibility.
Currently, here in Park City, we're at 140% of median. If you go a little bit farther north, we're about 130% of median. Then when you go farther south, it gets even bigger, 160, 170%. So we have a sizable snowpack.
Yeah, sizable might be a bit of an understatement. Check out this map. The darker the purple, even pink, the deeper our snow in those areas. Now, look at where we were back in April of 2015. Coming off of a low year last year and a hot, dry summer, we needed the excess snow. But now we're in a waiting game to see what happens when it all starts to melt.
Anytime you have a large snowpack that we've got this year, everything is delayed a little bit. Your melt is delayed. We don't know what the weather's going to be in the 3rd and 4th week of April, so we're just monitoring this and seeing where we are with the snowpack.
State hydrologists will be keeping a close eye on conditions, crossing their fingers for a slow melt, but knowing that's not always how it happens.
When you look at some of the bigger years, it was delayed. When you look at that famous 1983 year, it was delayed till the 3rd week of May. The snowpack kept building until about the 3rd week of May, and then it melted all at once in a really rapid fashion.
That year, Utah saw streets turn to rivers and major damage from floodwaters and mudslides. The snowpack then was similar to our snowpack now, but officials say there's no need to panic.
It's prudent to monitor your situation. I think it's also prudent to clean out the culverts, clean out your gutters. But I think it's a little premature to start worrying about a big flood threat. You know, we get a little closer to May and we still have these snowpack volumes that are what we see right now. Then we should take action. But right now, it's kind of a wait and see.
What experts say we don't have to wait for, evidence that runoff will be rapid, creating danger zones around all bodies of water.
The thing that we know right now is that our volumes are going to be really large. And when they're large like this, we have people die in the rivers and streams. Little kids fall into the rivers, they're attracted to water. People, when they get tired of this winter scenario, want to get out and get near the streams, and it's the most dangerous place in Utah. Monitor your children really close and pay close attention when you're any of these waterways.
Officials are already taking action to try and mitigate some of the threat. This week, water managers started releasing water from Pineview, Schofield, and East Canyon reservoirs to make room for more runoff.
Let's see.
Meanwhile, field crews for the U.S. Geological Survey are making sure the stream flow gauges are working and ready. The information they provide is critical in a year like this, when we know that stream levels will be well above average.
If we're in a situation where we're getting close to flood stages, it's important to have accurate stage data to be able to get warnings out.
River levels should slowly increase over the next month or two. Peaks for high elevation runoff should arrive in June and early July.
Swift water rescues can be one of the scariest calls for rescue teams, so they train for it each and every year.
Our own Jed Bull jumped in along with trained first responders to show us exactly what to do and what not to do.
It's extremely cold water, so it doesn't take long at all to become disabled in the water.
The water is snow melt.
Even though it may look like a slow, playful river, it's really quite dangerous.
The current is still deadly.
Even the strongest swimmers cannot overcome it. You work as a team.
These Salt Lake County firefighters trained in the Provo River with the proper equipment on safe techniques to get to a swiftwater victim. In this scenario, I'm the victim who's gone in the water and gotten stranded. One of the professionals has come to save me. It doesn't need to be deep to be dangerous. That current swept 2 grown men right off their feet.
It doesn't take much at all for for an animal or a child to get close and to fall in.
The best way to keep all of your kids safe on the shore is to make sure that there's a designated watcher with no distractions.
Their focus is on the water. That's all they're focused on, is they're watching what is going on around them.
Captain Jay Torgerson says if one of his kids went in the water, he would probably jump right in, but they urge against that.
Knowing how these conditions are, going in after somebody is often unsurvivable.
It's very hard to see someone drown and not do anything.
Troy Thane's son acted on that impulse when he saw a 4-year-old child and then her mother fall into the Provo River.
The child went in, the mother went in, and we started screaming, people in the water.
Troy ran ahead to try to throw something in the water. He thought his son, Sean, was following him.
But he was actually going in the water.
Within seconds, the mother and child and the Good Samaritan had been swept downriver.
It's human nature to save a child.
A search and rescue veteran tells me move downstream, reach with a stick, throw a rope if available.
It would be impossible for me as a father not to do something if a child went in the water. But you got to take just a second and look and say, what's the smartest way to help without becoming another victim?
And that's Jed Bull reporting. If you go in yourself, keep your feet pointed downstream and above the water.
Also lean back and try to keep your head above water until rescuers can finally reach you. Dave?
Coming up next, we head south for a closer look at the situation in southern Utah and the threat of serious spring flooding.
This snow comes down quickly, we will have a lot of flooding in these areas. It just depends on what Mother Nature throws at us.
From 50% to nearly 200%.
Snowpack situation in southern Utah this year is much better than last.
Yeah, but while there is a real flood threat in Utah's Dixie, so far water officials pretty happy with how spring has started.
Sometimes when we have a lot of snowpack, we'll have an event like a rainstorm will come in and that snow will melt very rapidly and we're unable to capture a lot of that water. But with this year, we've had really good temperatures so far. And so the snowpack's coming off nice and even. Great year. We're filling every reservoir. We're taking full advantage of every drop of water we can. By probably the end of this month, all our reservoirs will be at 100%. And the ground is soaking up the water very nicely, too, so that's going to help our groundwater situation.
All good news, but experts say they're still encouraging residents to conserve because there's no telling what the water situation will be like next year. We'll be right back.